Are you sitting? I hope you are, because I'm about to give you my yearly wrap up. 53 books in a few words or less if I would recommend them. So, starting off, my first book of the year, we're going in order. The Savage and the Swan. No, this was not good. I think I rated it 2 stars. Next, we have My Dad's Best Friend. This was also a no for me. When the word daddy is used like many times, that's a no for me. I got the ick. Next, The Unmarked Witch and The Unbound Witch. This is a completed duology. These were fantastic. I think I rated each of them 4.5 stars. Highly recommend. Next, Iron Flame. Definitely highly recommend this one, okay? I don't understand why there's so much hate for this book. Like, yes, it was long. Yes, there was so much miscommunication, but, like, come on. Okay, next. Eyes on Me. I will read anything Sarah Kate writes, okay? This was fantastic. I think I rated it 4 stars. Next, I read Caraval, and it was pretty mid. I think I rated the first book 3 stars. I rated Legendary 4 stars, and then Finale was 5 stars. Like, this series just kept getting better and better, and I had such a fun time. It was unlike anything that I've read. It was so whimsical. Then I read The Immortal Prince by the Twisted Sisters. I really enjoyed this series. I read like a book every now and then. It's not like a series that I've been able to binge read, but I like it. And then I tried A Fragile Enchantment. This was a DNF for me. It was recommended as Bridgerton, and it was so boring. Definitely don't recommend that. Next, I read A Study in Drowning. I rated this 3.5 stars. It was okay. I was expecting better from all the hype, but it definitely gives dark academia, so I liked that aspect a lot. Then I read Mountains Made of Glass. This was short and spicy. Then I read A Flicker in the Dark, and this is one of my top reads of the year. This was an amazing thriller. I won't shut up about this book. I have recommended it to everyone I know, and if you haven't read it, I highly suggest you do, because I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. I was sad. It was fantastic. Then I read The Teacher by Frida McFadden. This was my first Frida book. It was great. A little taboo, and that's what I liked about it. I mean, honestly, my attention was hooked. And then, like, the last couple sentences of the book, I'm sorry, I was like, I was so shocked. Okay, then Kingdom of Blood and Salt. This was like, I just saw it recommended to me on Kindle Unlimited a lot, and I was like, oh, I'll give this a shot. I haven't heard anything about it. There's a reason why you haven't heard very much about it. It wasn't good. I rated it 3 stars, and then I tried the second book, and I had a DNF. The second book is Court of Vice and Death, so don't recommend that. Then I read The Inmate. This one was good. I didn't like it as much as The Teacher. I think I rated The Inmate 3.5. It was still very entertaining. Again, the ending of this book was like, okay, Frida, I see you. I see what the hype is about. But the female main character in this one was just insufferable. Then I read White Hot Kiss. That's a book by JLA. It's so good. It's YA. It has demons and gargoyles, and it was so different, and I laughed out loud with this series. Like, I laughed, and it's so hard to get me to do that, but I thoroughly enjoyed myself. And then continued with Stone Cold Touch and Every Last Breath, that trilogy. It was just so good. I think I rated the books 4 to 4.5 for each of them. And then I read The Witch Collector. This was a reread. Okay, one of my favorite books ever. I will not shut up about this one either. Like, please, go and read this. The second book, City of Ruin, I read that. Okay, 5 stars. Easy. It was so good. And the ending of that book, oh my god, I need the third book, viscerally. I need it. Okay, then moving on to The Trial of the Sun Queen. I started this series and it is fantastic. I rated the first book 5 stars. Second book, Rule of the Aurora King, I rated 4 stars. It was great. Then I read Fate of the Sun King and it was 3.5. Still good, and I need to finish off the quartet because I haven't read the 4th book yet. And then I read the little novella, The Wolf and the Witch. This is a witch collector little novella in between books 2 and 3, and this was so good. It was spicy, it was short, they had me hooked. It was great. And then I read Lotus by Jennifer Hartman. So good. If you haven't read her other book, Still Beating, that one is like one of my all-time favorites. Lotus was good as Friends to Lovers, which is hard to get me to like, but I did enjoy it. It was 4 stars. The Girl the Sea Gave Back, that was part of a duology that I needed to finish. The first book is The Sky and the Deep. It was okay. I listened to this one on audio. It was just kind of like, I'm reading it. It's fine. It was like 3 stars. And then I read Infernal Creatures, another one of the Twisted Sisters book in this series. Again, I just read one every once in a while. They're really good. They're really fast-paced. And then I read All the Stars and Teeth and All the Tides of Fate by Adeline Grace, the same author as Belladonna. These were pretty mid. Each one was 3 stars. Then we have Origins of an Academy Bully. That's the first novella of Zodiac Academy. I never read it, and I was like, okay, I miss this world, so I'm gonna read this. Of course, it was great. And then I read Heavenbreaker. Heavenbreaker, another top read of the year. So good. Like, picture real steel mixed with the Hunger Games, like giant mech robot jousting, okay? With feminine rage. It was so good. It is not fantasy. I don't know why it's recommended as fantasy. It is sci-fi. And then we have The Coworker. Read that by Frida. I read it one day. It was so good. It was very good. I think I rated it 4 stars. I think I still enjoyed The Teacher the most out of the Frida books that I read this year. And then I read Lore of the Wilds. That was a DNF. I don't recommend it. It was one of Fairy Loot's romantasy picks. Don't recommend. All of Us Villains. I love this duology. It's so good. It's Hunger Games-esque. It's great. And then I read Fireborn. Fireborn is the first in a trilogy. It was very good. It was YA. It's very political based and dragons. Easy. And then All of Our Demise, which is the second book after All of Us Villains. It was good. Not as good as the first book. I rated this one 3 stars. I'm running out of time. Then I read The Games Gods Play. This was my top book of 2024. Amazing. I couldn't put it down. It had everything that I ever wanted in a fantasy book ever. Please go read it. It's so good. Then I read Lightlark. Lightlark, that was a trip. Okay. That was 3 stars. Not continuing with that series. The more I think about it, the more I don't like it. So that answers the question about that. Then I read House of Beating Wings. This was so fun. It was so different. It involved crows. I'll never look at a crow the same again, ever. And you might have to come back for a part 2 because I thought I was going to fit this in, and this is a really long video, and I've been just yapping away. So if you've watched this far, I'm proud of you.